Babe of the day. Babe of the day. Jaclyn Smith. Charlie's coolest angel, in my opinion. Jaclyn Smith just gets it for me. Out of all the angels, she seems to carry herself with the most dignity and poise. She's a very stylish lady. A big shout out goes to Anthony for suggesting this one. I do read everyone's comments and I do take suggestions. So if you know of a woman who should be Babe of the Day, drop me a line in the comments below. It can be any woman from any time period in any profession, as long as you think she's a babe worth talking about. If you look back at my previous videos, you might be surprised who I'll talk about. Jaclyn was born and raised in Texas. She went to college to major in psychology and drama, but quit after a year. She decided to move to New York and go to a ballet school. This would account for her excellent posture and ladylike mannerisms. It wasn't long after this that her career aspirations took a turn. She got into modeling and acting work, landing numerous TV commercials and print ads. As early as 1966, she auditioned for a role on the horror-themed soap opera Dark Shadows, but did not get it. For some reason, acting jobs didn't come easy for Jaclyn. Her first role didn't come until 1969 in the movie Goodbye Columbus. Even then, it was a small uncredited part. 1970 was a bit better. She had a small role as a journalist in The Adventurers film. Both of these movies had been filmed in 1968. After this, though, her acting career started to pick up a bit of steam. In 1970, she got the role of Tina in an early episode of The Partridge Family. Everything was still very small roles for the next 5 years. In 1975, Jaclyn got a notable career breakthrough. She played the character of Allie McGinnis in 3 episodes of the action TV series Switch. Although not too well remembered today, Switch was on for 3 years and starred Eddie Albert and Robert Wagner. She got another part in an episode of The Rookies, another notable action show. Somebody was paying attention, and her most famous gig would come shortly after. It was 1976, and a unique detective series was started. The show was called Charlie's Angels, and it would be about not one, but 3 women detectives solving crimes together. The catch was that none of them was the boss. The boss, Charlie, was someone you never saw, and he only talked to them through a speakerphone. A man named Bosley, who worked for Charlie, acted as sort of a liaison between Charlie and the Angels and helped them in their assignments. Many critics just considered this show dumb jiggle television. The network, ABC, really had no faith in this show until they learned it was a ratings monster. Jaclyn's big shot could have been over before it started. Luckily, though, Jaclyn became Kelly Garrett and the only one of the Angels to stay with the series for the entire 5-season run. Just as quick as Charlie's Angels started, Jaclyn Smith became a household name. She even got her own Mego doll in 1977 under her own name, not as part of the series. She did, however, have another doll in 1977 of her Angels character, made by Hasbro. Jaclyn got a lot of acting work after this and through the 2000s decade. Since then, her acting roles have been sparse, but she really made up for the sluggish start in her career. Charlie's Angels ended in 1981, but the popularity of the reruns has kept it going forever. When I was a kid, Charlie's Angels was still very popular and heavily referenced in the late 1980s throughout the 90s. One acting role I'd like to specifically mention, post-Angels, was in the 1984 TV movie The Night They Saved Christmas. She was the star and the mom of a family that was going through a rough patch. The dad's job had them living in the North Pole area where the oil company was, unwittingly, dynamiting the area and endangering Santa's workshop. Saving Santa and all the residents of his home ultimately brings the family back together. This was an awesome movie, and I always loved it. First of all, it's well done, and could have easily been in theaters. Art Carney as Santa, June Lockhart as Mrs. Claus, Paul Williams as their chief elf, Ed. These were all great performances. After its initial run on ABC, they would play this in syndication during Christmas time for years after. In my mind, it's a Christmas classic. The first thing you see Jaclyn doing in this movie is flying a plane, which looks cool, and she's cool throughout the whole movie. In 1985, Jaclyn got into something entirely different that would make her even more of a name, but in another way. She introduced her collection of women's apparel for Kmart, when Kmart was, certainly, a huge, huge concern. She became a pioneer for celebrities developing their own brands, rather than just endorsing others. It grew from that, and the Jaclyn Smith collection extended far from clothes, going into furniture, bedding, and bath accessories. Even though she ultimately parted from Kmart due to the company's financial woes and limited number of stores, she has kept her product line alive through the Home Shopping Network. The Jaclyn Smith collection got her very rich, mostly because it was stuff that most people could buy and not super expensive. You didn't have to be in the 1% to get a Jaclyn Smith item. However, this did not keep her from acting. As a matter of fact, in the late 1980s, you saw her all over television. In the 1980s and 90s, TV movies were Jaclyn's main things. In 1988, she was the female lead in the TV miniseries of The Bourne Identity, opposite of Richard Chamberlain. This is notable because it came long before the successful series of movies with Matt Damon. From 1989 to 90, she was in a short-lived series of TV movies called Christine Cromwell. There were only 4 of them, but I thought they were cool, and she was good in them. She was a rich lady lawyer solving crimes that involved other rich people. You knew you were going to see cool stuff. It was well filmed. After this, she never again got her own series as a lead. At least not in an acting capacity. She did, however, appear in a lot of TV shows. Her next stint as a lead was be as hostess of a reality series called Sheer Genius for 2 seasons beginning in 2007. In 2003, she made a cameo as her angel character in the film Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. She was the only good thing about that movie. I had enjoyed the earlier Charlie's Angels film from 2000, but this one was like a bad dream. She also made a cameo as Kelly Garrett in the 2019 reboot film of Charlie's Angels. Jaclyn still acts today and is as classy as ever. As far as her personal life goes, you don't really hear people talk about it. The interesting thing about that is that Jaclyn has been fairly open about everything. She has been married 4 times and has 2 children. In 2003, she had breast cancer treatment. In 2009, she even had a documentary crew film her home life for an online video series for Kmart. Fortunately, even with this openness, she isn't a popular figure in tabloids. I think Jaclyn is liked well enough by everyone that she's deemed off limits to most of the horrible mass media. So let's give a big hooray to Jaclyn Smith, a sparkling, sophisticated babe of the day, babe of the day.